Before proceed to the next presentation, I just wanted to make I wanted to say that maybe for some of you might have a commitment due to your own personal things you might leave. So before we proceed to the ends, because we still have so many presentation. So I just wanted to ensure to the all presenter before we proceed to the next.
Last happened, the family businesses were among the first to rush to extend help and to extend their philanthropic practice in the absence of traditional players such as the government, for example, and other NGOs. And this is why I chose to have a qualitative research whereby I can do a longitudinal study. So the first round of interviews was immediately after the blast, and I selected 10 family business cases to learn about, first of all, their normal practices, and second of all, their immediate response after or in the aftermath of the blast. And the second phase was 1 year after the blast happened. So it was last summer, August 4th, 2021. And this is how I collected all the information. And I'm currently assimilating the data and coding it using the NVivo software. And I would like to share some results. Also, they are still not final, so they are partial results. But from the first level and second level coding, I was able to cluster the information under 4 categories. First, the perceptions on philanthropy, the meaning of community and values. The second is the nature of the philanthropic activities and whether these activities are being done through the business or through a separate foundation. The involvement degree in the philanthropic practices and the direction of giving. So, and here specifically, I studied how the direction changed or shifted before the explosion happened and the crisis or the exogenous shock, and after. So before, for example, the giving was towards the whole social fabric, while after the blast, most of the interviewees mentioned that they are focusing now on their employees or charity at home. And some other interviewees, as I'm mentioning here in the table, they mentioned the concept of growing circles of giving. So they start with their inner stakeholders or inner family, and then they grow larger and larger to the neighborhood, for example, then the region, and then the external community. So here I'm trying to cluster the information and to see what are the trends. For example, the main reason for giving, the majority mentioned that it is the need for the community need for philanthropy, and so it's the ultimate need, in fact. And there's also, like, some people mentioned that it's a tradition. Some mentioned that we are obliged to do that, specifically, for example, to market their business, so they use it as a marketing tool, so on and so forth. And also the main findings here, I find it interesting as regards to the philanthropic activities, because the strongest or the most commonly philanthropic activities were in health and education, while fundraising was the least mentioned. And this is very interesting, because in traditional philanthropy, and also if we related to religion or moral obligation, it was all about monetary charities. So now this is shifting to non-monetary operations or activities rather than just fundraising. As regards to the perceptions of philanthropy, also I had lots of interesting insights, but this is not final. So, for example, some people perceive philanthropy as a crisis leadership tool. The others perceive it as just paying back to diverse sectors, and others want to do philanthropy or perceive it as should be done as low profile giving, so not as a marketing tool. And here also I have to mention that I put them in circles because of this circle concept that I observed, and also because of the contradicting perceptions. So, for example, some interviews mentioned that they perceive it as low profile giving, while other interviews mentioned that no, it's a business strength, for example, and we use it as a marketing tool. So there are diverse opinions. And about the perceptions of the meaning of community, also it was quite variant. For example, some people mentioned that traditionally it is the family is rooted in the society, or it's our local society, while others went beyond that and said that it's about collective work. So everybody who's working with us collectively, regardless whether he is in Lebanon or outside, or regardless of his religious or any other background, we call him part of our community. Some mentioned that it's the sense of belonging to the country, and others mentioned that whoever has trust in our family name is part of our community or of our business. So also another interesting finding is that the community is also perceived as the family territory rather than the territory of opportunities. So as you can see, we have quite diverse opinions. And finally, about the perceptions of related values, also here I try to classify the values, and I found out that the ones in red are the stronger ones, or the more objective ones, which are related to the business.
Ma'am, you have 2 minutes to conclude, please.
Yes, I'm concluding. Rather than the family, like professionalism, hard work, meritocracy, while others, the soft values like the empathy, positivity, courage, they come actually from the family values rather than the corporate values. And finally, I would like to know more your opinion about my study and how to better improve my research. And also if you have any advice about the theoretical framework that I should use, because I was thinking about the practice theory, since I'm talking about practices, but also there's the field theory, and I would like to have the opinion of the audience about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation, and as for your concerns of your theoretical framework, yes, it's very interesting and you did a very good job, but it would be much more better like if you find an opportunities to collect data on a large scale for the quantitative analysis, so that will be more and strengthen your findings.
Audience, quantitative.
If anyone has a question for this presentation or any comments. Thank you very much, Nema, for your presentation, and we don't have a question for you now. Thank you.
Thank you all.
And now I'm allowing Dr. Lakshmi, and she will be presenting the 2 papers, decision tree based control on a solar photovoltaic and simulation for a foley. Hello, ma'am.
Sir, is my voice audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. You have a 2 presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please continue.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. M. Lakshmi Swarupa, professor working for CVR College of Engineering in Electrical Department. Today, I'm here to present a topic on decision tree based system control in solar photovoltaic arrays. The main motto of an decision trees photovoltaic arrays algorithm, which is being used in this particular paper, is for measurement and estimation of the solar photovoltaic radiation protection in and other parameters like current, voltage, power, and temperature to time to time. So some of the important points which we have considered is, first thing is we have gone for the literature survey of the different solar PV installations which have been going on. So in our college, we have an 500 kilowatt power of a solar installation. So we have worked, and it's a complete paper. It consists of an simulation and an hardware. But in this work, we have shown only the simulation studies, and the hardware is also on the process. So we are doing an solar PV testing and protection methods for identifying the solar panel which is faulty. So for that, already the previous so many techniques they have been adopted. One of the technique which is open circuit.
Your roll number is 24, na? 25.
Different methods which have been already been used. So from the literature survey, some of the diagnostic methods which have been used are like correlation methods, which are used like neural network methods, some are fuzzy logic methods, and different types of the simulations which are already been done. So what extension we are going to do from the literature survey is we are going to adopt in MATLAB software, and this decision tree model is an regression trained based algorithm, which is based on the real-time.
Start kar laukar, Harshdeep.
So the steps of decision tree model which we have considered is, it is
Harshdeep, presentation start kar, time waste karu nako madam ja.
The first one is a data acquisition, second one is a data pre-processing, and third one is a training of the model, and the fourth one is a testing of the model. So the total work is been categorized into 4 steps. So the first one is we have acquired the data by using the voltage sensors and current sensors and temperature sensors, and we have measured the irradiance by an irradiance measurement. After collecting the data is pre-processed and kept in a format which can be easily acceptable by a MATLAB template. The training of the model is being done by decision tree methods, that is algorithm, which can be done either by linear or non-linear type of an algorithm. And finally, the testing is being done whether the particular solar panel is faulty or not. So the typical grid connected PV systems are considered. Generally, the PV systems are of 3 types, like standalone mode, grid connected, and hybrid connected type of an PV system. So in this paper, we have gone for a grid connected solar PV type of a system, for which we have gone for an faults is one of the category which we have considered for analyzing the protection. Because it is a simulation, the faults are not produced automatically. So we have taken a circuit breaker, and for a stipulated time, we have given a fault which has been generated through the simulation. So the complete original attributes which we have considered in our paper is, we have gone for temperature, we have gone for solar current, we have gone for short circuit, open circuit voltage, we have gone for solar voltage and power and nominal voltage, nominal current, irradiance detection and classification. So the fault detection is being mainly categorized into 3 ways. One is an LG fault, LLG fault, and triple LG fault. So for that, the algorithm we have used for detection and classification is, we have taken the data acquisition and pre-processing, and the fault is detected based on the voltage and currents values. The first fault is detected whether it is an LG fault or LLG fault or triple LG fault. After the fault is detected, whether we'll check whether the fault occurred in the which phase, either phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 3. Based on that, the fault classification is being done, and the alarm is being indicated to the particular phase or particular sensor through a sensor saying that the fault is being occurred. So these are the different testing and training decision tree models of the training algorithm what we have used. Some of the attributes like create node for creating the different nodes where actually the fault location and the fault protection is required. Next is classify function. We have used a classify function to segregate the types of faults, and attribute selection method, because we have again n number of attributes like voltage, current, temperature, and irradiation. Next is the stop command which is being used. So for DT model testing, we have gone for again 2 limitations. One is cost of training is very high. Second is the DT model, what we have identified from our analysis is the cost is very high, and the DT model which is being used cannot perform as per the training set. For some of the applications, they have used for a rating of a neural network of a 10 hidden layers, and some of the fuzzy for a different membership functions and linguistic variables also they have used. So we have gone for a fitting type of an curve fitting type of an analysis. Based on that, we'll be estimating what is an error which could be measured for a nonlinear type of a regression iteration. So from the data, we can see on the right side, the power estimation with number of iterations. As the number of iterations are changing, it is the almost the actual power and estimated power are nearby almost same. But when we see the before 15 iterations, the deviation comes to be a very little bit more. So based on that, a nominal distribution is been considered, and rather than Gaussian distribution, to see that it perfectly fits into the equation. So on a basis of daily base, we have taken a solar irradiance. On a monthly profile also, we have considered the mean and the per se concentrated interpretation of the solar panel basis. And we have also gone for the system load variation. For one particular distribution analysis, we have taken a specific load for a distribution network. And only for, suppose if we take example in our college, we have totally the solar power, it is completely working on the solar power, all the laboratories and the classrooms. So we have considered for one complete building like electrical building or a computer building. And based on that, we have taken an analysis of the system load for the different days and estimated on for the Mondays, because on the starting date will be more used and Saturday naturally will be doing less work. So based on the weekly analysis also, we have gone for number of iterations. This is a MATLAB simulation. We have it is a MATLAB MFile program which we have done. And the command window, we can see where actually we have obtained the system load values in terms of a power megawatt and also in terms of a mean and radians. So energy deviation with respect to load is also been obtained. And this is a noisy signal for variables which have been given as an input and how the variation which is being done based on the iteration. So here the noisy signal is Gaussian noise is the one which is considered. So from the conclusion, we can see that decision tree method, we cannot say that it is 100% more properly trained for this particular system, but it has given 99.98 efficiency. So how could we detect the efficiency? We have gone for a regression coefficient. So based on the regression coefficient, we could analyze that it is 99.98% in terms of RMSE value, root mean square value. So we got 99.98% of the efficiency. So these are the some of the references which we have considered. And one of my paper which has been published in Materials Today elsewhere. So that is an extension work of the last paper 24. Based on that, we have gone for this particular decision tree method. So this is an actually solar kit is also available in our college. We are working for the hardware by using a LabVIEW software.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Before she proceed to the next presentation, if any question, please. Okay, doctor, could you proceed for the second presentation? I think we don't have a question for this.